Hi, I want to talk a little bit about documentation for the foreign language PowerPoint project because there's been lots of questions and I find myself having to say the same thing over and over again. So let's take a look at some details here. First of all, what needs to be documented? Well, anything that you would document in a regular research paper. Any quotes, any paraphrases, facts, information, charts, or data. Anything that, in other words, you've copied and pasted, something other than your own. And this does not include Google Images, though. But you want to give credit for who's created it. And that's the main point to this. So what information is needed when you document something? You want to follow the APA format rules. Check on the OWL Purdue website. There's a link on our webpage on our Foxtail. Also, you can check with the reference librarian. They can give you information as well. In-text documentation should be included on individual slides, and I'll show you that in just a minute. And there should be a final reference slide at the end. So let me show you just a little bit what that means. So if you're looking at this slide here, we've got a chart. Obviously, this has been copied and pasted in here. And you can see down at the bottom of the slide that there is the in-text documentation, the information that's going to guide me directly onto the reference list so I can tell where did it come from. The Indo-Europe map, and the ND is for no date. Here's another example of some information that's given in a chart kind of a form. And you can see on the far right corner that there is the information for the in-text documentation. This person obviously did not create this information. They copied and pasted it from someplace else. That should be giving credit to whoever created it. Here's information now on a slide that is paraphrased. Some of it may be actually quotes, but they didn't use quotation marks. If you use quotation marks, it's very obvious. But if you've also paraphrased what someone else has said and your page looks very similar to where you've copied it from, you should give in-text documentation. You can see it again on the bottom right corner. All of this should go to your source page or your reference list at the end of your document. If you want to go back and look, you can see one of them was the one at the bottom of this list, wow, that's really a hard name to say. The one that's Megerdoomian is at the bottom of this list here. And there was another one that was the Indo-Europe map. If you're paying attention, there's actually one missing here because there were 3 samples that I showed you. And one of them is not on this list. So you want to be sure, first of all, that you get anything that you have in text documentation. It should be cited on your final list. Also notice that the list is in alphabetical order according to the proper word that is supposed to be used for the listing of your item. So you see that the first one is by the author, the second one is the author, the third one is the author, the fourth one is the author. Then you can get down to the Indo-Europe map and there is no author. So you alphabetize it by the correct word that is supposed to be first there. You'll find that kind of information in the very detailed website on the OWL website or with the reference librarian. So hopefully this is helpful in understanding how to do your documentation. It's really tricky. It requires a lot of attention to detail. So why bother? Well, first of all, it's required. But really more important, it avoids stealing. And that sounds kind of dramatic, but you can steal other people's ideas. And when you document who originally had the idea, you give them credit and you make it clear it was not your original idea. I think really a good rule of thumb is if you're in doubt about documenting it, go ahead and put documentation in. It never hurts to add documentation. It only hurts to eliminate it, to not put it there when it should be there. So hopefully this is helpful. I hope that it will guide you through what to do for your documentation for your PowerPoint project.